The lie, hypocrisy, and secret conspiracy of Netflix bosses. The story that shocked the world. You knew for sure that Henry Cavill was being squeezed out of The Witcher, but you never imagined how far this conspiracy went or when it began. The streaming giant accidentally let the cat out of the bag, and now the whole world knows the shocking truth that has shattered the official version of his departure. Hello everyone. Prepare to forget absolutely everything you've heard about Henry Cavill leaving The Witcher. The official, heartwarming version that he quit the series for other projects, which showrunner Lauren Schmidt uttered with an innocent face, has been exposed as a cynical and blatant lie. This entire carefully constructed, years-long structure of deceit collapsed in an instant, buried under a single sentence in an article that Netflix published itself. This is not mere gossip, it is documentary proof of a massive backstage conspiracy that unfolded in secret from fans and perhaps even from Cavill himself. The truth that surfaced proved so inconvenient that a panicked Netflix rushed to cover its tracks, but as we know, the internet remembers everything, and now we will dissect every step of this scandal that casts a shadow over the entire industry. It all began with what seemed like an innocent PR stunt dedicated to the new Geralt, Liam Hemsworth. Netflix decided to market its new actor to the masses by releasing a glossy complimentary article on its official resource. It was a standard saccharine boilerplate from the PR team, detailing how diligently Liam trained and how the crew welcomed him with open arms. The innocent PR stunt turned out to be a Trojan horse. But tucked away among all that syrup was a phrase that, by some incredible blunder, Netflix editors failed to notice and remove. A phrase that became a bomb, exploding the information space. It read, Liam Hemsworth's journey began with a phone call in 2020 while he was at home in Australia. Hold your breath, 2020. Allow that date to imprint itself on your mind because it is a game changer. The first season of The Witcher was released at the end of 2019. This means that not even a few months had passed. The debates about the quality of the debut hadn't cooled before showrunner Lauren Schmidt and the Netflix bosses had already begun looking for a replacement for their lead actor. 2 years before Henry Cavill officially announced his departure, at the very moment when fans still believed the project had a chance and held out hope for corrections, backstage intrigues were in full swing, deciding the fate of the actor who essentially carried the entire series on his back. Netflix in panic, the attempt to cover tracks, realizing their catastrophic mistake, the Netflix PR machine went into a feverish scramble. The scandalous line in the article was hastily edited, removing the fatal 2020. They hoped no one would notice. How naive. In the age of the internet, where every click leaves a digital trace, such blunders are not forgiven. Screenshots of the original text spread across the network like wildfire, and the truth burst out. The attempt to hide the information didn't just fail, it became the final and irrefutable proof of the scandalous data's authenticity. This confirmed the fans' worst fears and forced a new perspective on all of Lauren Schmidt's interviews, all her tearful speeches about a mutual decision. It was not a departure, it was an expulsion, a systematic, deliberate one, initiated immediately after the first season. Not a departure, but an expulsion. We are now dealing with two shocking but equally plausible scenarios, both of which scream of the show creators' contempt for the actor and the source material. Option A. Cavill immediately wanted to leave but was bound by contract. Henry Cavill, a genuine geek and fan of the Witcher universe, entered the project with fire in his eyes. He poured his whole soul and body into Geralt, asking for only one thing: respect for Andrzej Sapkowski's books. But what did he see? Writers who, according to insider accounts, openly mocked the canon and the games. He saw his beloved world being turned into teen fantasy, with ridiculous plot twists and holes. It is not surprising that after the embarrassing first season, which demonstrated a complete creative incompetence and disrespect for the source material, Cavill might have immediately wanted to terminate his contract. Writers mocked the canon, but he was most likely bound by rigid multi-year obligations, and while he gritted his teeth, working through the second and third seasons, Netflix, to avoid being left high and dry, frantically began looking for his replacement, attempting to hedge their bets in case of his final break. Option B, the creators themselves decided to get get rid of the inconvenient star. Henry Cavill was not just an actor, he was a filter through which the script passed. He constantly fought for his character, demanding logic and adherence to the books. For showrunner Lauren Schmidt and her team, obsessed with their original vision, which led the series further and further away from a dark fairy tale toward a Disney-esque fantasy, Cavill became a bone in their throat. He wouldn't let them commit all the necessary arbitrary creative changes. His disagreement, his fight for the canon, became an inconvenient problem for the producers, and instead of listening to the only person who understood Geralt, they decided to get rid of him. Securing the support of the bosses, they began to scheme, planning the replacement with the more pliable and less demanding younger Hemsworth immediately after the debut. In any case, the news of the 2020 call definitively reveals the relationship between Cavill and the studio was poisoned from the very beginning. The subsequent 2 seasons, which he honorably fulfilled, were essentially an agony, a walk through enemy territory where a successor was already being sought behind his back. The new Geralt, a reflection of what Cavill fought against the backdrop of this scandal. The Netflix article praising the new actor looks particularly farcical. We are enthusiastically told that Liam Hemsworth will bring a little more humor to the role, that he loves to swear, and they brought those swear words back, and that he smiles a little more. Producer Tomasz Baginski proudly states that their new Geralt will become a little more emotional, a Geralt who smiles more. An insult to the canon. All this is presented as a fresh, better take, but in reality, it is a condemnation. It confirms what Cavill fought against: the simplification and distortion of a complex, multifaceted character, the transformation of the White Wolf from a cynical, reserved, tragic hero into a more understandable and flat character for a mass audience. They needed a Geralt who wouldn't question the writers but would obediently execute their ludicrous ideas. Even Lauren Schmidt's boasting about how she has never seen such physical fitness as Liam Hemsworth's now sounds like a petty, venomous jab at Henry Cavill, who invested an incredible amount of hard work and perfectionism into Geralt's physical embodiment. Cavill's fans are convinced, and not without reason, that the entire initial popularity of The Witcher rested on his shoulders, on his perfect embodiment of the character. His departure, especially now that the true reasons are exposed, foretells not just a slump, but a catastrophe. Recall the ratings. First season, positive reviews, 88%. Second season, 54%. Third season, 19%. This is not just a decline, it's a free fall. The series lost viewers and critics with each season, and the departure of the only actor who remained true to the spirit of the source material was bound to be a fatal blow. Free fall ratings. Netflix tried to pull off their cast change quietly and smoothly, portraying Cavill as the one who initiated the departure. But one accidental, unedited line in an article destroyed their years-long structure of lies, revealing the truth to the world. Henry Cavill was forced to abandon a sinking ship that the team of writers and producers was deliberately steering towards the rocks, ignoring the books, the fans, and common sense. The 4th season, which will feature the new actor, will now be perceived not as a new chapter of fantasy, but as a monument to hypocrisy, dashed hopes, and the outright contempt of The Witcher's creators for the source material and the actor who tried to defend it. For the target audience, lovers of gossip and cinema, this is the scandal of the century, exposing the rot within the Hollywood machine.